China has done something that has shocked the entire space industry yet again. It is building a spacecraft launch site in southern Hainan province, a megastructure with state-of-the-art technologies. The idea is to build a cooperative international lunar research station between China and Russia. But how is the craft itself? What difficulties does the mission face? Join us today as we bring you the latest information on China's new 800-meter-high rocket. As we know, China, being a vast country, is known for breaking through seemingly insurmountable boundaries. The goals of China's space activities are to explore outer space and learn more about the cosmos and Earth, to use outer space for peaceful purposes, endorse mankind's civilization and socio-economic development, and benefit all mankind, and to meet the growing demands of development, public safety, science and technology development, and social progress. Protect China's political goals and build up the comprehensive national strength. China follows the following principles when it comes to space activities. Following the notion of long-term steady and sustainable development and ensuring that space operations support and complement the state's overall developmental plan. The Chinese government recognizes the critical significance of space operations in executing the country's science and education revitalization and sustainable development strategies, as well as in industrial prosperity, national security, science and technology development, and social advancement. As part of the state's holistic developmental policy, the government encourages and supports the growth of space activities. China launched its first satellite into orbit in 1970 during the Cultural Revolution, which created huge disturbances. By that time, only the United States, the Soviet Union, France, and Japan had gone into space. Many people recall the days when China was lagging in the space industry. Those days are over today. As we see what China has in store for us. China has fired around 200 rockets in the last 10 years. Chang'e 5, an unmanned mission to the moon, has already collected and returned rock samples. It placed a Chinese flag on the moon's surface that was intentionally larger than previous American flags. China has now launched 14 people into space compared to 340 for the United States and more than 130 for the Soviet Union, and now Russia. China has unveiled the CZ-8, an 800-meter-long rocket capable of carrying a payload of up to 140 tons into low Earth orbit, or LEO. That's more than 3 times the size of SpaceX Heavy Falcon rocket. It will also be capable of lifting 1,500 kilograms to a 500-kilometer SSO. Last year, the larger ZK-2 was slated to be ready for flight before the end of 2022 and able to send 3,500 kilograms into a 700-kilometer SSO. The famous space race would be more capable than the long March 11th, currently China's most powerful solid propellant launch vehicle. Its range is projected to be 10,000 kilometers. It will be capable of delivering up to 100 tons into low Earth orbit, LEO, or 50 tons into geostationary transfer orbit, according to China's Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation, CASC. China will be able to send crewed expeditions to every planet in our solar system, including Mars, as a result of this. When it comes to competitiveness, China is not a happy camper. It is planned to make its first flight around 2030 after following 3 steps. Long March 5th around 2018, Long March 6th around 2020, and Long March 7th around 2022. China will have completed construction of a new space center in Wenchang, Hainan province by that time. In preparation for China's lunar mission, Change 3, the city has already hosted 6 successful launches. At an experimental area in Beijing, a prototype of China's Mars rover is being tested. In such a short period, the business has outperformed all challengers such as the US, the Falcon Heavy from SpaceX, and established itself as the backbone of the Chinese space industry. It is expected to be capable of launching 120 tons into low Earth orbit, LEO, or 40 tons into geostationary transfer orbit, GTO. It is not only catching up in terms of space payload, but rockets are mainly disposable and lack a secondary launch mechanism. This implies that if China can make their vehicle reusable, they will save millions in launching costs by not having to develop totally new craft every time. China has recently displayed its newest weapon, which will undoubtedly create a new game show for its adversaries. The Long March rockets have a maximum launching capacity of 9,200 kilograms for near-Earth orbit and 5,100 kilograms for geostationary transfer orbit, allowing them to satisfy the needs of a wide range of clients. Since 1985, when the Chinese government said it will enter the worldwide commercial launching market with the Long March rockets, China has launched 27 foreign-made satellites into orbit, gaining a portion of the international commercial launching industry. The Long March rockets have launched 63 times thus far, including 21 successful flights in a row from October 1996 to October 2000. China prioritizes the development of all types of application satellites and satellite technology, and has achieved significant advances in satellite remote sensing, satellite communications, and satellite navigation. Satellites for remote sensing and telecommunications account for over 71% of China's total number of satellites produced and launched. These satellites have been widely used in all parts of the economy, science and technology, culture, and national security, resulting in significant social and economic benefits. Foreign application satellites have also been actively used by related state departments for application technology investigations with positive outcome. China has come a long way since it has developed a manned spacecraft and high-reliability launch vehicle, since launching its first manned spaceflight program in 1992, as well as engineering studies in aerospace medicine and aerospace life science, reserve astronauts, and machinery for aerospace radar systems and scientific research projects. When they top the charts in the space business, they may receive unfavorable comments on Twitter or be pressured by competitors, but it does not stop China from achieving greater heights. We all know that China isn't like the rest of the world. It brings its own food to the table by developing an Earth observation system that can operate reliably for a long time. Meteorological satellites, resource satellites, oceanic satellites, and disaster monitoring satellites can all work together to create an Earth observation system that can conduct stereoscopic observation and dynamic monitoring of the country's land, atmosphere, and ocean environments, as well as the rest of the world. To establish a satellite broadcasting and telecommunications system that is run autonomously. To establish China's satellite telecom sector, positive assistance will be provided to the construction of commercial broadcasting and telecommunications satellites such as geostationary telecom satellites and TV direct broadcasting satellites with long operational lives, high dependability, and huge capacity. The long-term development targets include to make space technology and applications more industrialized and marketable. Exploration and the use of space resources must address a wide variety of needs in economic growth, state security, science and technology development, and social advancement, as well as contribute to the strengthening of the nation's overall strength. To build a multifunction, multi-orbit space infrastructure comprised of various satellite systems, as well as satellite ground application system that harmonizes spacecraft and ground equipment to form an integrated ground space network system in full, continuous, and sufficient period of time, in full compliance with the state's overall planning. China creates its own backdoor and helps its own backbone. The Chinese military is another renowned client of the Chinese space industry. This is very much in line with China's long-term policy of becoming a full-fledged space power, which necessitates mastering a wide range of capabilities, says one analyst, Thomas Rozensky, a European Space Policy Institute researcher, ESPI. Reading through some of the statements from officials behind these solid-fueled launchers, it appears to me that there is a clear conviction that because of their inherent features as solid-fueled launchers, these new vehicles will respond to pressing priorities of China's and international space sectors, says Rozensky. Light-lift rockets would allow for more flexible launch times and probably simpler integration into operations from a variety of spaceports, including sea-based launches. Meanwhile, big-lift rockets would be ideal possibilities for mass-hungry, non-crewed infrastructure installations. For future in-orbit economies such as constellations, space stations, or even deep space ambition. For a future in-orbit economy, according to NASA. He also added that overall mastering such a new capacity allows China flexibility and redundancy, showcases technological supremacy to the outside world, and creates crucial synergies for other non-space purposes, according to the report. The Chinese government will continue to encourage international exchanges and collaboration in space technology, space applications, and space science, with cooperation in the areas receiving priority. Enhancing international collaboration in space technology and applications in the Asia-Pacific region, and using space technology to promote regional sustainability of the environment and natural disaster monitoring. Assisting Chinese space companies in their efforts to participate in international commercial space launches, in accordance with the principles of justice, equity, and proportionality. Supporting the use of China's mature space technology and space application technology to conduct out collaboration with other developing nations, and deliver mutually beneficial services to cooperating countries. supporting worldwide exchanges and collaboration in Earth environment monitoring, space environmental exploration, and microgravity research. Space physics and space astronomy, notably in microgravity fluid physics, space materials science, space life science, and space biology. Not only does it help expand its empire, but also takes part in giving back what it takes, killing two birds with one stone. Exploring and utilizing space for the benefit and interests of all countries with a particular focus on the needs of developing countries. International space cooperation aims to develop and utilize space resources in a peaceful manner for the benefit of all humanity. International space collaboration should be based on equality and mutual benefit, mutual complementary and joint progress, as well as universally acknowledged international law standards. In the process of international space cooperation, necessary actions should be taken to preserve the space environment and space resources. The Office of Outer Space Affairs, or OOSA, of the United Nations should be unified, and the UN's outer space application initiatives must be supported. A few years from now, it wants to take samples from asteroids near the Earth. By 2030, it aims to have put its first astronauts on the Moon, and to have sent probes to collect samples from Mars and Jupiter. The 21st century will see a rapid expansion of space activity all around the world. China is developing a space development strategy and plans for the 21st century, based on current needs and the country's long-term developmental goals, in order to boost the space industry's growth. Anyways guys, if you want to see more interesting videos, click the video right above. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications enabled so that you don't miss out on the latest space industry news.